So excited. Today we get to interview LaQuetta Wiseman. She has a story that is very impactful. And I feel like a lot of people can learn a lot from hearing from this young lady. Is it recording? Look, the little thing still saying it's buffer. Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Shamika with Dear Shamika, and I'm extremely excited today. Today we have LaQuetta Wiseman. She has a very impactful story. Lives are going to be transformed once you hear her story. So we are going to get straight into it, how we do it. Before we get started, I want to allow you time to plug in your businesses. So if you could just go ahead and start talking about your businesses or business.
Oh, you talking about me?
Absolutely. Yeah, we give
Oh,
people a chance to plug in their business before they tell their story.
okay. So, one thing that I do, I am a Total Life Change distributor, health and wellness distributor for Total Life Changes. And being a part of that company, it has allowed me to lose 54 pounds. So
Mm,
currently, I am a product of the product.
mhm,
Just as much as I promote the biz, I mean, just as much as I promote the products for other people, I also take them just as well. I actually launched my business last year called Let Me Tell You Something, and it's more so geared around inspiration, motivation for other people. Just basically allowing other people to, giving advice. Basically, just telling people, how important it is to put yourself first. And I
That's
think Let Me Tell You Something is like almost like a attention grabber.
it really is.
It
Because
is a name.
when you get into it, somebody, let me tell you something. So it really is. How did you come up with the name?
So I was actually riding down the street. And so while I was riding down the street, I said, I feel like I'm supposed to have a business. Like every time I would ride past like a building,
Mhm,
I would always be drawn to think like, what if it was my building? Or if
mhm,
I ride past like vacancy, I mean like a new building is being built, I was always visualizing myself with a storefront. And
mhm.
so one day I was just riding, I was at the light, and I just was sitting there thinking, I was like, if I were to have a business, what would it be called? As soon as I said it, like seconds after that, it's like it popped up in my mind. Let me tell you something. And I was like,
Yes.
it went so well because in 2009, that's when God told me that my voice, like I had a voice that people would listen to. So
Mhm,
when that name came up in my mind, and when that name came up, I'm like, yeah, I know that has to be from God though. Like,
mhm.
because it explains it. And when I tell people the name, they was like, they first when I say, let me tell you something, they be like listening, expecting me to say something behind. I'm like, no, that's the name of the business.
So not only is it exciting, it's memorable. It's something
Right.
to remember. Let me get into these interview questions because we want to help people level up. A lot of people want to level up from what I've realized in the city of Memphis. They want to do better, but it's almost like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place because you don't know how to do better.
Right.
So, could you tell the listeners your story about your struggles with poverty, what you feel may have caused those struggles, and how you overcame those struggles?
Okay, so first, I actually want to answer the second question first. Like, what I feel like put me in position to even go through what I went through.
Mhm.
First, I think it was more so like immaturity. I think it was poor decision making. And oftentimes, we like to think that things happen the way they're supposed to happen, or we say, maybe it's something you did in your past, or maybe something come back and hunt you, whatever. I would like to say that's true, because I can say, although I feel on hard times, and I do feel like God gave me the story and He took me through this for the purpose of me being able to tell somebody. But I also remember that I also realized that it was based on my decision making though. Like some of the stuff that I put, some of the positions, some of the things that I went through, I think I brought it on myself, whether I either did it with actions or I spoke it out loud.
Mm.
Because one thing I can say is that I wasn't always a person who was putting myself first. I didn't always think that, I didn't always live in character. I didn't always live in principle. I didn't always, feel like if I, think before I did something, it was more so, oh, I'm just going to do what I need to do, like for right now. And a
Mm.
lot of times it came back to hunt me.
Mm.
And the fact that I wasn't putting up money to save, I wasn't saving money was a reflection of me being, losing my job, and I don't have any money else, any other money put up. So it was
Mm.
always, my actions that put me in the position that I was in. Although it happened the way it was supposed to happen, because I wouldn't be where I am right now had that not happened. And so just a little bit about my story is more so like, I'm actually, tomorrow is marked 4 years that I gained my high school diploma at the age of 35. So,
yes.
right. And some of my memories came up today. So one thing about me is that I just recently obtained my high school diploma at the age of 35. I just woke up one day and decided I wanted something different. And I was visualizing myself going to college, but I knew if I hadn't went to college, if I hadn't got my high school diploma, I'd never be able to experience it. So I just woke up one day and, and I just said, I'm going to look up and find, where I need to go to be able to get a high school diploma. And I initially, started the GED process, but then I realized, I was like, you know what? And I don't know what made me think this, but I just say, if I got a GED, that's giving people proof that I dropped out of high school. Whereas if I get a high school diploma, nobody would know unless I tell them, or they see the high school diploma.
Right.
So it was just my own little personal goal, own little personal thing that I wanted to do. But yeah, I was a high school dropout. I was homeless for 11 months with my 2 kids. I lost everything at one time. I lost my house. I lost my car. I lost my job. I didn't have any money. Unemployment was not coming in. And I did what I knew how to do. And it was just to stay strong, just pray. And, one thing after another happened. One thing after another happened. It's just like, I was just put in a position where I had to just test my faith, though. I had to just sit down and realize, you know what, these were some of the stuff that happened. You brought it on yourself. Some of it happened the way it's supposed to happen, but now it's time for you to see how strong you are mentally. Like, do you really believe in God for real? And so, once I became homeless, I had the opportunity to go live with my mom. I had the opportunity to live with some friends, but I felt like the most comfortable thing would be for me to go, get a hotel room. And I honestly didn't know how I was going to be able to. I didn't think I would live there for 10 months. I didn't think that I was going to be able to pay for it for the entire time. I just was making a right now decision and was just taking it more so one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. And before I realized it, I was in there for 11 months. For my kids, the only thing that was not normal is that we didn't have our own place. But I still volunteered at the school for the entire time that I was there at the hotel. I caught rides every day, back and forward. And people would ask me all the time, like, how are you able to volunteer at a school and you don't even work? And my honest opinion, my honest answer was, I don't even know. Like, I did not know how I was able to even muster up enough energy to go to a school to volunteer, and I wasn't getting paid. I just knew that, it gave me something to do. And I know if I sat at that hotel room, it was going to probably have me depressed. So I just, was volunteering. And then all of a sudden, one day, God spoke to me and said, this is where you're supposed to be. And from that day forward, I figured out why I was still going to the school every day, because he hadn't spoke to me yet. And I was just, taking it one day at a time. If you had asked me prior to now, could you stay in a hotel room for 10 months? I probably would have said no and couldn't fathom the thought of staying in one. But as time went on, I wasn't looking at where I was living. I wasn't looking at, the longevity of it or anything. I just was one day at a time. And I made it through.
Okay. I want to circle back. So you said some of the situations you were in was because of poor decision making. What made you leave high school or decide to not complete high school initially, or what were some factors that led to you not completing high school initially?
For one, I didn't like school, and I like being around my friends. But the only reason why I did not like it, and now it makes sense to me, is because I was lazy mentally. I was lazy. Like, I would go to school. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I feel like I slept from kindergarten through 12th grade.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I literally, for real, like, I remember sleeping all day at school. And I guess I used to do my work and then go to sleep, because I failed only one time. That was my 11th grade year. So I made grades good enough to be able to pass. And I don't remember my mama having to come to the school for like me having unsatisfactory grades. Mine was more so mentally. Like, I think it was just draining to be at school all day, And so finally, when I got to the 12th grade, me and my friend, we met some older guys. Now, they wouldn't influence on me not going to school, I just wanted to be grown and do grown people stuff. Like I wanted to be out going and get something to eat. I wanted to be out at the mall. I wanted to just hang out with them because they were grown.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, you know, the year that I was supposed to graduate, which was that May, I was supposed to graduate May 2001. I just eventually just stopped going. You know, the more I went, the less I started wanting to be there. Like I may go a week straight. And then next week I may go 3 days. And then the next week after that, I may go 1 day. And then I just eventually just lost interest and stopped going. Mm-hmm. But it was my 12th grade year though.
Okay, so out of those people, was anybody in your circle encouraging you, hey, LaQuetta, you need to go to school, you almost there? Or were they kind of just like going with the flow of you making the decision to not complete school?
So I didn't really have a relationship with none of my teachers except one, but she was my 9th grade teacher. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I didn't really have a relationship with them. I never really got to, you know, learn the teachers and nothing like that. In fact, I feel like, you know, if I could have, I wish I would have made more memories in high school, and there may have been a reason why I would have stayed, but I didn't talk. I knew a lot of people, but I only had one friend that I was with every day, and me and her dated friends. Mm-hmm. So the only people that used to kind of say, don't come over here, you know, go to school, was the guy that I was dating. Right. But so me and my friend, what we would do is we would get up in the morning and go wherever we wanted to go, and then go where they were after school. Oh. Right. Yeah. So he used to say all the time, like, you know, go to school. And I used to like, I'm going. And then we get out of school and go over there. He's like, y'all didn't go to school. I'm like, yes, I did. But, you know.
Y'all was slick.
Yeah. But, you know, that's outside of dating somebody grown. It wasn't it wasn't just, you know, skipping school, smoking weed. Like, it wasn't that kind of thing. Like, we just used to, if we wake up, you know, we were in the 12th grade though. So we wake up late, we may go to school at 10 o'clock, or we may wake up and go grab something to eat. We didn't look like little kids. So it was easier for us to camouflage in a restaurant as if we were grown. Mm-hmm. So that's how they went.
Okay. So could you walk me, so you experienced homelessness. Could you walk me through a day in the life of someone who has went through that, or what were your daily struggles when you dealt with homelessness?
As weird as it seemed, like I didn't. It really wasn't like a daily struggle though, and I think because my mental state I had just already accepted the fact that I didn't have a job, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a place to call my own. I had the conversation with my kids, like, listen, this is what we have. Until we can, you know, things will get better. It won't always be like this. I can promise you all. We won't live like this always. Mm-hmm. So once I put that in my mind, I never really focused on that. We stayed in a hotel. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that I had a lot of sad days because my son was playing ball at the time. So when we would get up, get ready for school, you know, whatever ride I found, you know, most of it was my friend's mom who would pick me up. We go to the school. And so since I was volunteering while they were in school, I didn't have to worry about what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get here, how I'm going to get there. Because, again, I wasn't working. So I used to get up, go to school with him in the morning at 8. And my daughter was actually in elementary. Mm-hmm. I take her to school, and I go to school with him. I be there all the way until he get out of school, and then get her, you know, to the school. And then they had basketball practice. So we would be there 7:30, 8 o'clock. And then my friend mom would pick us up, take us back to the room. So, I didn't have a lot going on. So it was just, you know, me going to the school with them. And when they get out of school, we come in and, you know, I fix them to either stop and get them like a sandwich or something. Mm-hmm. Or I find, you know, have something quick to cook. But it wasn't, we didn't have a lot of sad days though. Cause we still went places, you know. He had basketball games. We were always occupied. So it wasn't really, I can't say those were the darkest days of my life, but they were probably some of the hardest days.
Okay.
Financially.
But other than the finances, you were pretty productive. So it didn't, the routine that you and your children had, didn't throw off the routine. You still kept them on a routine.
Right. Which right now, that routine is the exact same. We get up, I drop my daughter off, except I work now. I drop her off at school. I go to work. By the time I get out of work, I come home for like an hour or so, pick her up from practice, and we at home. And it's exactly what we're doing right now. So like the routine was like literally all the same, except it wasn't at home.
So basically the routine saved you, just kept you sane, correct?
it kept me sane, and the fact that I knew I had to be strong for them. Like I couldn't, you know, because what I was a kid that I watched my mama actions. Like I watched, you know, I listened to the conversation that she would have with my grandmother about like her not having enough money to pay this, or you know, I got to pay all of this and it's just me. You know, I would have them conversations with her, but she never once broke in front of us. So I used to always say to myself, like, if my mom could do it with 5, then I have no excuse with 2. Even when I was in a position that I was in, like I could not break them because I wanted them to see what strong and fighting through obstacles looked like. That was my ultimate goal.
Yes, yes. And what makes you like? How do you keep this character of just being so strong? Like, what do you do to keep sane and to stay strong so that other people may benefit from?
I always tell myself like I have this. I'm mentally tough. Like at the most difficult times, like I'm mentally tough. Like I always pray and ask God for mental strength. And believe it or not, I had a friend when I was a kid. His mom would always. He told me one day me and him would walk. I was 16. He said his mom was always the happy-go-lucky person. She was always positive. He never saw his mom sad and depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom died from an aneurysm. And basically it was because she was stressed and she didn't tell anybody. She was just hiding it. Mm-hmm. So when I was going through like that time where it was so difficult, I just kept saying, God, whatever it is that I'm going through, if I must go through this, please do not allow me to lose my mind. Like I don't want to lose my mind in the process. So as I was going through it, I feel like he was just answering my prayer. He was just kind of like holding me. So even when me going through like the toughest times, I can't say it was like I wasn't on the verge of just like giving up, because I kept telling myself like it will not be on like this always. I was holding on to hope. Mm-hmm. I just kept saying it won't be like this always. I'm too good of a person, you know. Like I pray for other people. Like I feel like, you know, it's gonna be better.
So during this time, because I do follow you on social media, and I know that now you do meditate and have positive affirmations and things like that. Is this something you did in the past, or is this something you recently picked up?
Yeah, I actually, my first day ever meditating was October 12th of 2020. I didn't have a routine like how I'm disciplined now. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a routine. I was always a person who said I'm random. Like I don't plan stuff because it don't never go the way I want it to go. So I don't plan stuff. But I realized that played a major part in anxiety. So I didn't start meditating until until last year. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of like put the topping on the cake. Like it made things even more, like I found myself having more time to myself. I found myself having more time to do stuff. Like I do everything now strategically planned. Like just like even with now, like today, mm-hmm. I knew I had to do this at 7:00. I know once I got off work, I had enough time to get off work, get in the shower, go to the get off work, go to the grocery store, get in the shower, come home, cook, and I have everything already ready before 7:00. My daughter had practice at 6, so I didn't pick her up. So I plan my day. Like when I get up in the morning, I kind of like plan my day, like I because it cuts down anxiety for me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when me meditating, it just teaches me how to be calm, mm-hmm. and, you know, not panic in situations that warrants for me to be, you know, in an uproar.
Mm-hmm. So that was one thing you did to level up. You meditate, you have a daily routine, so you're on a set schedule that cuts down on anxiety. The next thing we're going to get into is how you work out faithfully. How many times a week do you work out?
It you know what? It depends. So like when I first got into the starting to lose weight, like I feel like I was doing it. As a matter of fact, I did do it every day. Mm-hmm. I did it every day. In fact, it was during COVID. So I the guy that I was following, Hennessy Fitness, he worked out every day. So I would get up every morning at 9:00 every day. All I was doing was taking the detox tea and working out every day. Mm-hmm. And then once I started seeing the progress. Matter of fact, no, it wasn't. I take it back. When I first started working out, all I did was walk. I walked every day for 30 minutes straight. And so as soon as I did that challenge for 30 days, for 30 minutes every day. And then a few days after that, another challenge started. So I started out walking, and it was an everyday thing because, you know, of course we wasn't working. I had time, and it was just I was committed to, now I got to the point where when I started seeing results, I felt like, okay. So now that I see some results, I see it's working. All I need is just the work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what I do, I go to the gym maybe I was supposed to go today. And I know I won't go tomorrow. So I try to go at least a minimum of 3 times a week.
Oh, you a bad one. Okay, so how long after you got yourself together and got out of homelessness did you start your weight loss journey?
So I moved into a place in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was April 2016. August of no, it was July of 2016. I started school for my high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated and got it 2017. And then I didn't start working out until last year, which was 2020. My first time ever working out was July the 14th of 2020.
Okay, so between 2020, because our recording got cut off earlier, but between this time frame, so it's been about a little under a year, correct?
Over a little over a year. July 14th, 2020 made it. 2021 made a year.
Okay, so a little over a year. How much have you lost?
I've actually lost a total of 54 pounds, and that was last year. I've been under 180 since October of last year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a part of your leveling up as well. Do you feel better? How do you feel better? Of course, I know. You feel better physically. So as far as mentally, do you feel better? Like, yes, I got this weight off. I'm looking good, or is your esteem about the same as it was prior to?
No, it's totally different. Like it's like even now, I can't say that I really had like a real self-esteem issue because I've always been like a people person. I've never been afraid to speak in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do believe now is that I've gained a sense of boldness. Like if I'm in a room, I'm not afraid to say, I belong in the room. Or if somebody will say something to me, like I'm more bold now, And then the fact that I was able to transform my body, and I'm proud to tell people, like, the first 2 things I tell people, do it look like I just graduated high school 4 years ago, or can you tell that I was 226 pounds a little over a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a conversation piece for me. So I've gained more confidence for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What motivates you to be so disciplined?
Because when I'm undisciplined, I have anxiety. So and see, what I did was I've learned that discipline prevents anxiety for me. So what I do is, because I know anxiety played a major role in how I felt emotionally, and mentally, I stay away from things that prevents me from being disciplined. So just say, for instance, if I know I got to work out in the morning, I'm disciplined enough to not drink alcohol to the point where it make me lazy and not want to get up. Or if I know I have to go to work out, like my trainer, Tawana, if I have to go, when I was going to her, I know if I had to go to work out with her in the morning and I know I want to give 100%, I didn't eat certain foods. I don't eat certain foods. And that's even now when we going to the gym. Like I think about my next morning, okay, I know I got such and such to do. I got to plan accordingly. Mm-hmm. So the discipline comes just like the, the vision for your life creates the discipline. And that's true. Because when I visualize what I have ahead, it kind of put me in line and keep me, on a straight and arrow.
Okay. And we know you work out, but when you wake up in the morning outside of working out, well, you can incorporate working out as well, but what does your daily routine consist of?
So my alarm goes off at 5:30. And I created this the day that I started exercising, July 14th. It's the day that I made a commitment to myself that I never wake up and get out the bed without telling God, thank you for waking me up. So from July 14th, 2020, all until today, as soon as I open my eyes, and honestly, before I open my eyes and feel myself alert, I start praying before I even open my eyes. And I say, God, thank you for allowing me to, wake up this morning. I realized it's some people that went to sleep last night with their work clothes out and somebody found them not breathing. So I appreciate you for even allowing me another opportunity to make somebody else's life better according to, my actions. So I made that commitment to myself last year, and I do not get out the bed or touch social media. I don't do anything before I pray first. And I make sure whenever when I do pray, I pray for somebody else as well. And I try to pray for somebody different every day. Or if they face come up in my mind, I pray for them. So what I do is I wake up in the morning at 5:30. I pray. As soon as my feet get out the bed, I make my bed up. I use the restroom. I wake my daughter up. I get ready for work. I go downstairs, make my breakfast or whatever I need. I drop my daughter off at school, go to work, and I do it all over again the next day.
And because you are like that is a complete turnaround, weight loss, but you've always been a great parent, so it's you are like I don't even know what to say because you really are an amazing person. Like everything you put your mind to, you've accomplished.
And see, that's the thing. Like my sister always gave me credit. Like, and this is the reason why I was able to take my punishment. When I say a punishment, not more so as a bad thing, but I was able to, how when a person does something and they don't realize, okay, you did this, is self-conflicting, but you don't know how to take the punishment for it, so you blame everybody else. So I've never been a complainer. So even when I made poor decisions, I was woman enough or mature enough to say, you know what, I brought this on myself. Now I gotta figure out, I gotta tough it out. And that's pretty much how I go into everything. Like when I do something, even if it's something good or bad, like whatever consequence come with it, I take whatever come with it, whether it's something good or something bad. And that's how I'm able to maneuver through, even when things come and I'm not prepared for it. Most people probably would fold. And I just tell myself, like, I got to stay focused. I got to get through it because I want to be able to have something else under my belt to say that I mentally fought. And I don't give up easily. I just always have been mentally strong since a kid.
Yes. So my last question for you after I kind of give what my takeaways are in this interview on how to level up is don't give up, be consistent, stay strong, meditate, stay focused on God, and be bold. Outside of those things, because I know I stated a lot, is there anything you would want the listeners to take away from your story?
I would say, don't be afraid to show the world who you are. Like, don't be afraid to live in who you are. We all have mishaps and we all have some things that we can be ashamed of. But if you pull it to the forefront, like this is what I do all the time. I make people notice the thing. I bring notice of stuff that most people would try to use to against me. So one of the things that I would always say is that you mention the things that you think people may say about you so they won't have anything to say. So in my case, like, I always speak about it all the time. Like, I feel like my teeth are not the whitest and I feel like they're not the straightest. Or, I even mentioned just recently, that when I first got pregnant with my son, that he was married, like when you bring things to the forefront that people could use against you, then they can't do nothing but respect you. And a matter of fact, that at least she noticed what her wrongdoing is. So even if I guess it makes people feel like if she can openly talk about what she did, and not be ashamed of it, then I shouldn't be ashamed either because actually you were there when it happened because you did it. So that's more so my takeaway. Just be bold enough to whatever it is that you did and decision that you make. Be bold enough to live in it, and whatever comes with it, be willing to fight through it. Because it's a story and it can help somebody else in the end.
Thank you so much, LaQuetta. We're gonna end this call, but I'm super excited and I'm super happy that you stopped by to share your story with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for even thinking of me, to even want to hear my story.
You the one.
Don't you know when I had that interview the other day, she said the same thing. She said God spoke to me and told me you was the one.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't take any opportunity for granted because I realize if I hadn't been bold enough to even share my story, people wouldn't even be wanting to listen. So I don't take it for granted at all. You know,